Hi, hello, welcome, welcome. My name is Jordan, and this is a morning yin sequence. We'll need 2 blocks and a blanket for today's practice. We'll be coming into some shapes that are great for digestion and stimulating some lymphatic flow. So great for the morning. We'll also be targeting the hips and the side body. And if you are coming onto your mat today with the muscles already kind of excited, already warmed up, and looking for a stretch, I would highly recommend really supporting yourself with props. We'll be holding our shapes anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. Yin is traditionally practiced when the body is cool in maybe a cool room. So we can target the yin tissues, the yin energy of the body, the bones, the ligaments, joints, and balance the meridians of traditional Chinese medicine that run energetically throughout the body. We'll also be really emphasizing grounding and centering in this practice, being with sensation in a way that can set us up for the rest of our day. As always, you are captain of your own ship here on your mat. Feel free to make any adjustments, add a layer, subtract a layer, meet yourself where you are to give yourself what you need today. You make all of the decisions about what happens here on the 4 corners of your mat, not only physically, but also energetically, emotionally, maybe even spiritually. We'll go ahead and get started in a supported thunderbolt. You may recognize some of these shapes if you've never practiced yin yoga before, as a lot of our hatha or vinyasa shapes, they just have different names because they serve a different purpose here. So find a kneeling position. If that feels good, you're also welcome to choose cross-legged and take your blanket, place it over the backs of the legs. You can also take a block underneath to lift the seat a little bit higher. And take a moment here, perhaps with the palms face down on the tops of the legs, the spine nice and long, to notice. Perhaps closing the eyes or softening the gaze. And bring an awareness to the points of contact your body makes with the surface supporting you. Inviting a tactile or tangible awareness to the way the earth comes up to meet your body without judgment. And breathe here. And bring your awareness to the tip of the tail, the very base of the spine. And on your next natural in-breath, visualize the breath traveling up from this space, from the tail, gently rising all the way to the crown of the head, unhurried. Perhaps there's a brief pause at the top, and allow the breath to melt from the crown of the head down the front of the body, back to the tip of the tail. Perhaps there's a pause at the bottom. And we embrace this opportunity to begin again with the in-breath. Continue allowing the breath to oscillate in this way through the physical body, visualizing this mindful circulation of prana, life force. from the tip of the tail to the crown of the head, from the crown of the head to the tip of the tail. Find 5 cycles of breath like this with your own natural rhythm, allowing the face to be soft, noticing space between the teeth, tongue to the bottom of the mouth, and bringing a little bit of extra awareness to the very edge of the out-breath, the temperature of the mouth here. As that last bit of breath leaves the body without force, and we begin again. As you round out that last breath here, notice the heaviness of the elbows, the warmth of the hands, the texture of your clothing or your skin as it rests beneath the palms. And drop your pin in this moment. You can begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes and gently blink the eyes open. And we'll move into our first yin shape. Shifting the hips to one side. Keep your blanket underneath to invite a little bit of length in the spine. And we've had the knees bent for a little while, so it might feel good to take the feet out a little bit wide. Just knock the knees gently side to side. And come back through center. Extending your left leg long. Keep your right knee bent here for a half dragonfly or a half straddle. See how it feels up tall in this shape. If you're a hypermobile individual like me, it might be a good idea to take something to place beneath the left knee, just so we don't have to worry about any kind of hyperextension. We'll be here for about 3 minutes. And to take any excess tension out of the right hip, go ahead and place a block at an angle, any height, maybe it's medium or tall height, underneath the right knee. And take your second block to the outside of the left leg. Maybe starting with it on its medium or tall heights. And just bring the left elbow to your block. I'm actually going to adjust mine a little bit tight today in my right hip, my right side body. So take your elbow to that block, and you can either cradle the head in the left palm or rest the temple on the fist. And take a few deep breaths in this shape. Imagining you could breathe all the way down to the bowl of the pelvis, blooming the back right side of the body with breath. Coming back to that oscillation here, circling the breath to balance the body physically and energetically. And if you'd like, you can keep the right hand resting wherever feels supportive. Or you can wind the right hand up and over towards the left side of your space. Rest the right elbow crease on the top of the head. Notice if we're gripping in the right hip. And come back to that space between the teeth, tongue to the bottom of the mouth. On the very edge of your out breath. As you send a little bit of your warmth out into the world. If you had the right hand reaching up and over, begin to gently unwind the right hand back through center, over towards the right leg, maybe the right knee, and pause for a cycle of breath here, noticing sensation. And gently make your way back to an upright position. Seeing how it feels to make that journey. And reach the arms up overhead, pinkies forward, thumbs back. Inhale here, breathe into all four corners of the torso. And exhale, gentle twist to the right, maybe left hand to the right knee or thigh, not cranking the spine here, right fingertips content behind the body. Maybe the gaze falls towards the right side of your space, maybe over the right shoulder. Release any gripping or agenda for this shape. And take 3 slow, steady breaths. The top of your 4th inhale, gently unravel back through center. And we'll take it to the second side, bending into the left knee this time. And take your right leg out long. The right leg can be out as wide as feels good, keeping in mind we're not trying to find a stretch really here. And if you'd like, you can bring something underneath the right knee if that feels good. And make sure we have a block on our right side of our space, on any height. And take your right elbow this time to your block to cradle the head or rest on the right fist. And maybe we'd like to prop the left knee on a block at an angle here. Adding and subtracting props or layers to accommodate any uniqueness of this side of the body. And after a breath or two in this variation, maybe we pause here for the duration of our time, keeping in mind you can always come out, you can always make an adjustment. Maybe you'd like to wind the left hand to rest the elbow crease on the top of the head. If you had the left hand up and over, gently unwind the arm back, becoming curious about sensation along this journey. And take a cycle of breath here. A little deeper, a little longer. And mindfully make your way back to an upright position. Taking a breath up nice and tall here, head over heart over hips. We'll inhale to reach the hands up high, biceps by the ears, pinkies forward, thumbs back. Exhale, twist to the left any amount. Breathe here, navigating the twist with your breath, allowing the rib cage to gently rotate around the axis of the spine. Gently unravel back through center. You can take any props over towards the top of your space. And cross at the ankles, find your tabletop shape. Taking your blanket here, we want to have a little rectangle for our blanket. So go ahead and make that adjustment. For me, my blanket is a little bit big, So I'm going to fold it up a few times and place it underneath the knees. And it might feel good here to take a round of cow-cat. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Shoulders over the wrists, knees under the hip points. And inhale to soften the abdomen towards the earth. Lift the heart and the tail. Exhale to round the spine, chin to chest. Gaze back at the toes. Come on back to your neutral tabletop shape. Reach for your blocks here. Maybe on their medium height. And inhale the right toes back, just the right toes. Lengthen that leg, deep breath in. On your exhale, swing the right knee out, right knee bent in a nice wide circle, and draw the right foot up to the outside of the hands, finding our dragon shape. Making any adjustments that feel good, maybe walking the left knee back or walking it forward. Staying up on our blocks here, we can always be on fists, keeping in mind we'll be here for about 3 minutes. And take a few breaths before going any deeper. And if it feels good, you can pause here. Maybe even take a block underneath the right glute or the right hamstring, just for a little bit of support. And maybe we come down to the forearms. Option to peel the right foot up off the mat and allow the right knee to drape open, finding our winged dragon. Maybe you let the head hang heavy, or you can cradle the forehead or the eye sockets with the heel of your hand. And breathe into sensation here, finding just the edge of where we begin to notice some interesting sensations in the body. And maybe we take 2 steps back and invite the pull of gravity into this shape, into this practice. And begin to press up onto the palms, onto your block. Reseal the right foot to the earth. Tuck the left toes. On an inhale, lift the heart. On an exhale, just hinge the right hip back, finding a variation of our half splits, just to bring a little bit of life back to that hip. Maybe tuck the right foot, point, and flex. Circle the ankle. Maybe circling the hips, hinging back and forth. Moving slow. And we'll take our hands back to our blocks, wrists under the shoulders, and take the right knee back. Setting up for the second side. Option to find a round of cow-cat here. And coming back to neutral. And kick the left toes, just the left toes to the back of your space. Inhale here. And exhale, bend into the left knee, swing it out nice and wide, and step the left foot to the outside of the hands. Pausing up nice and tall here, and instead of just sinking, collapsing into this shape, we want to think about drawing the hips energetically forward and allowing gravity to bring them a little bit closer to the earth. And breathe here. If it feels right, maybe we bring a block underneath the left glute on any height. Almost where the glute meets the hamstring. And you're welcome to melt to the forearms. Flying your dragon in any altitude here. We're staying nice and grounded. Not opening the wing or flying at all. That's okay. Come back to that space between the teeth. Tongue to the bottom of the mouth. And the very edge of the out-breath. Using these touchstones to regulate the mind in the presence of sensation. you melted to the forearms, go ahead and begin to lift up onto the palms, moving slowly. Reseal the left foot, lift the hips, and hinge the left hip back, finding a variation of our Ardha Hanumanasana or half splits. Maybe circling the hips like you're stirring the pelvis. Tick-tock. The foot side to side, point and flex. Bring in any movements that are conducive to receiving and reigniting the flow, both physically and energetically, along that side of the body. Rebend the left knee. You can plant the palms and take the left knee back, finding your tabletop shape. You're welcome to find another round of cow-cat. And sink the hips towards the heels with the knees hips width and find Balasana, child's pose, or in Yin Yoga, this is sometimes called Tadpole. Keeping your knees lifted here on your blanket. Maybe the big toes trend in towards each other, and take a block underneath the forehead, resting maybe on one cheek if that feels good. Bringing the forehead to your block. And you can keep the hands reaching forward or reach them back by the toes. And take 10 slow, steady breaths here. Begin to rock the forehead side to side, massaging the sinuses. And reach the fingertips forward, press into the palms, shift forward. Take your blocks off to one side. And take your blanket. You may have to shift it up just a bit. We want our blanket to be where the pelvis or the hip points would be if we were to lay down. So set up your blanket, making any adjustments. And then just begin to come on down to a prone position, laying on the abdomen. And you can rest on one cheek or stack the fists under the forehead or find your crocodile shape, stacking the palms to rest the forehead. And begin to deepen the breath here. If this does not feel supportive for, in particular, the low back, go ahead and remove your blanket or make any adjustments that feel good. And breathe here, compressing the front of the body, massaging the internal organs. You can also bend into the knees. Just take a little bit of pressure out of those joints. And we'll be here for about a minute, just breathing, noticing the points of contact that come up to meet you, the temperature, the texture, and deepen the breath. Begin to lift the torso. You can ground the feet if you had the knees bent, tuck the toes. And just lift enough to remove your blanket. You can place it off to one side. And just flip over, coming down to the back body. And take a moment here, maybe in constructive rest if that feels good. Feet a little wide, knees gently knock in towards the midline. Resting one hand on the abdomen, one hand on the heart. And breathe here. And extend your left leg long. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Give it a squeeze here. Maybe circle the right ankle a time or two. And just compress the right hip crease, taking 3 to 5 steady breaths in this shape. Take one more full inhale here. And on your exhale, supine twist, right knee up and over to the left side of your space. Maybe it reaches a block. You can always set up a block to meet the right knee. Or maybe it hangs out in space. Whatever feels supportive here. Keeping in mind anything that could be described as sharp or painful. We always want to use that as an opportunity to make an adjustment. And you can extend the right arm out to a T or extend it up towards the top right corner of your space. Breathing into the right side body and soften here. Begin to gently draw the right knee back through center. And we have an option to extend the right leg long, or you can allow the right knee to drape open for a reclined tree shape here. Just breathing into the right hip crease, maybe allowing the hands to rest, palms face up, knuckles heavy at either side. And take 3 deep breaths here, just noticing. Begin to sprout the right leg long to meet the left. If you had the knee draping open, and hug the left knee in towards the chest. Give it a squeeze. Deepen the breath here, breathing all the way down to the low abdomen, mid abdomen, to the tippy top of your collarbone, and exhaling completely. As you're ready, begin to draw the left knee up and over to the right. Finding your supine twist on the second side, making any adjustments to meet your needs here. Embracing any differences between this side and the first side. And coming back to the breath. Inviting the pull of gravity completely into this shape here. Begin to unwind, coming back through center, and either stretching the left leg long to meet the right or allowing the left knee to drape open, resting the hands wherever feels good. And breathe here. Allow the left leg to stretch out long to meet the right. And take a few breaths here, noticing if anything has shifted. And we'll bend into both knees, feet about hips width. Reach for your block and lift the hips, placing your block maybe on its low or medium height if that feels good. For me, I like the lower height. And we'll find supported bridge, maybe allowing the knees to stay bent here. Or if you'd like, you can begin to extend the legs long, finding pontoon. Maybe the arms reach overhead. And breathe into the whole front of the body. Inviting anything that has shifted to come home. Embrace this new space you took the time to create today. Not only physically, but also energetically, mentally, emotionally. Have you had the legs long? Go ahead and begin to bend into the knees, planting the feet. Pause for a few breaths here in your supported bridge shape. And begin to press into the feet, lifting the hips just enough to remove our block. Place it off to one side and take the toes skyward for waterfall. Maybe keeping a nice soft bend in the knees. And you can draw little figure eights with the toes or find stillness. Begin to gently bend into the knees, touching the toes back down. Option to take the feet wide, knees together for constructive rest. Resting one hand on the heart, one hand on the abdomen for a little bit of added grounding, inviting the mind to slow its pace. Breathing into the hands here. Or if you'd prefer, you're always welcome to kick the legs out long and wide. Allow the hands to rest, knuckles heavy, palms face up at either side. Take a moment to snuggle the shoulder blades beneath the back body to support the heart space. Lift the back of the head, tuck the chin, release it back down. And allow the breath to return to its own natural rhythm here. Coming back to that space between the teeth, the whole top row and the whole bottom row. Tongue resting easily at the bottom of the mouth without force. And invite any resulting softness to take up space here. Notice how it feels to be supported, to be grounded here. And rest in Savasana. Begin to deepen the breath. Wiggle the fingers, maybe brush fingertip to thumb. Open and scrunch the toes. Allow these movements to expand, rolling the wrists, eventually stretching out long from fingertips to toes. You can point and flex, roll the ankles. And draw the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a squeeze here. And maybe roll to one side and mindfully press up to a seat or gently rock up to any upright position with the gaze soft or the eyes still closed down. Noticing how it feels to be upright here in this space. Checking in with the breath and with the body one more time before we close out our practice on the mat for today. You're welcome to take one hand over the center of the chest, over the heart, and the other over your hand. Maybe holding one hand with the other. And noticing this sensation of being held here. Breathing into the hands, into this center, the heart space. Another space from which we can be inspired to move today, to be rooted in. Notice the sit bones heavy, grounded into the surface beneath. Lengthen the spine. And we'll take a cycle of breath here together to celebrate this time spent doing yoga and sharing the practice with each other. And deep breath in through the nose. Slow and steady. And exhale, let it go. Slow and steady. You can flutter the eyes open, release the hands, and make your way into your next cycle of breath. Thank you again so much for sharing your time, your energy, and your practice with me. Be well. Namaste.